Subscribe to Learning with Friends and click on the bell icon so that you never miss an update. Hello everyone, welcome to Learning with Friends. Our video today is a math video on powers and roots. What we have done in this video is picked up 5 problems from this topic that are interesting and challenging. What we would like you to do is look at the problems and try solving them on your own before you look at the solutions. So let's get right into it. So the first question is, if 4x minus y is equal to 10, then what is the value of 81 to the power x divided by 3 to the power y? Now this question may look very difficult, but it's actually not. We have to manipulate this fraction so that in some way we can get the value of 4x minus y, which we'll then plug as 10 and get the answer. Now we know that 81 is 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. Because 3 multiplied by 3 is 9, multiplied by 3 is 27, that multiplied by 3 is 81. Which means 81 is 3 to the power 4. So if I were to write 81 to the power x, I can write it down as 3 to the power 4 whole to the power x. Now one property of powers that we know is that x to the power a whole to the power b, this is b, is x to the power ab. So if we apply that property here, then we'll see that 81 to the power x will be equal to 3 to the power 4x, which means that our original fraction now becomes 3 to the power 4x divided by 3 to the power y. Another property of powers that we know is x to the power a divided by x to the power b. Remember that the base is the same, becomes x to the power a minus b. So if you notice here also, the powers of 3 are being divided, the same base 3. So this should be 3 to the power 4x minus y. And 4x minus y is given to us as 10 in the question. Right here, we see that 4x minus y is 10. So if we were to write this, put in the value of 4x minus y is equal to 10, this would be 3 to the power 10. And that is our option A. So right answer is option A. 78 obviously has no relevance. 27 squared is an interesting option. If you notice, 27 squared is 3 cube the whole squared, because 27 is 3 cube, which is 3 to the power 6. So our answer is 3 to the power 10, not 3 to the power 6. But it's still an interesting option because it is also a power of 3. So this is wrong, and obviously the solution can be determined. This may look like a good option if you do not do this work, if you do not do these steps that I have done here, because we have just one equation in 2 variables x and y. So if you're not careful, you may think that x and y can't be found out, and therefore this fraction cannot be determined. But the interesting thing about this question was you did not have to find out x and y individually, you only needed 4x minus y, and that is given in the question, and therefore we got the right answer as 3 to the power 10. So let's look at the second question. If x plus 1 by x is 7, what is the value of x cube plus 1 by x cube? Now most of us would want to find the individual value of x and then cube it and find the value of 1 by x cube and then get the answer. That is, we would have x plus 1 by x is 7, which will give us x squared plus 1 is 7x, which will give us x squared minus 7x plus 1 is equal to 0. The problem with this quadratic equation is that you can't really split the middle term here, right? Because this is a huge number, 7. So your only option is to use the discriminant formula. What is the discriminant formula? Minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. The discriminant formula uses the coefficients. The coefficient of x square is 1, so that is a is 1. The coefficient of x is minus 7, so b is minus 7. And the constant is 1, so c is 1. So this will be a little complicated. It will give you roots and other things, and then you have to cube it. So let's not do that. Let's do a simpler method, and you will see why it's simple. So we have x plus 1 by x. This value is given to us as 7. So let's cube this equation, right? Now, how do you cube something of the form a plus b? The formula for this is a cube plus b cube plus 3ab multiplied by a plus b. So we use the same formula to find the cube of x plus 1 by x. So x plus 1 by x whole cube will be 7 cube. So let's use the formula x cube plus 1 by x cube plus 3x times 1 by x into x plus 1 by x. Just remember, I'm plugging this formula. So a cube plus b cube plus 3ab into a plus b, and 7 cube is 343. Now here you notice x and 1 by x will cancel. X cube plus 1 by x cube is what we have to find. So let's call it delta plus 3 times x plus 1 by x is 7. It's already given to us. This is 343, right? This is 3 multiplied by 7. This is a notation of writing. This is not 3.7, right? So just remember that. So delta plus 21 is 343, where delta is what we have to find, x cube plus 1 by x cube, or delta is 343 minus 21, which is 322, and that is our right answer. So there are a number of ways to do this, but as I showed, the quadratic method would be really long, and this other method is simpler, and it uses the fact that the two terms are reciprocals of each other, so that's why you're able to get rid of them here, and you are really able to come to the answer quickly. They've also given option 343, just to confuse you, because if you're not careful, you'll just cube 7 and you'll feel that is the right answer, but no, because there is this term here, 3 into 7, which has to be subtracted from 343, and therefore the right answer is 322. Okay, so the next question 3 is, if x is equal to root 10 minus 3, what is the value of x to the power 4 minus 1 divided by x squared? So let's just separate these terms in the numerator. So this would become x to the power 4 divided by x squared minus 1 divided by x squared. And this would be x squared minus 1 divided by x squared. Now this is of the form a squared minus b squared. You see here it's the square of x and the square of 1 by x. And one of the identities is a square minus b squared is a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So our original fraction x squared minus 1 by x squared can be written as x plus 1 by x multiplied by x minus 1 by x, following from this identity. So we already have x. If we can find 1 by x, then we can solve this quickly. So let's try and do that. So what will 1 by x be? 1 by under root of root 10 minus 3. How do we solve 1 upon root 10 minus 3? We take the conjugate of this. What is the conjugate? The conjugate is root 10 plus 3. And we multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate. So root 10 plus 3 here and root 10 plus 3 here. And why do we do that? Because we are using this identity again, a minus b into a plus b, because we want to get rid of the root in the denominator. So that will be a square minus b square, and that will get us get rid of the under root sign. So the numerator becomes root 10 plus 3, and what will be the denominator? The root 10 squared minus 3 squared, which becomes root 10 plus 3. Root 10 squared is 10 and 3 squared is 9, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So this becomes root 10 plus 3. That's all. So it's very simple. X was root 10 minus 3 and 1 upon x. So all of this is 1 upon x. 1 upon x is root 10 plus 3. So my initial fraction, which was x squared minus 1 upon x squared, becomes x plus 1 upon x. So root 10 minus 3 plus root 10 plus 3. This multiplied by x minus 1 upon x, which is root 10 minus 3. Now minus of root 10 plus 3. So both the terms will be minus root 10 minus 3. So here in this term minus 3 plus 3 goes, in this term root 10 and root 10 goes. So this becomes 2 root 10 multiplied by, this becomes minus 6, and this becomes minus 12 root 10. And that is our right answer, minus 12 root 10. So again, a straightforward question. Just bring your fraction into a form that you can factorize and then solve and get the right answer. Okay, the next question, question 4 says, if f of x plus 3y and x minus 3y, so this is a function defined in two terms, f x plus 3y and x minus 3y is xy. That's what's given to us. Then what is f of xy? So this is a slightly tricky question, because what we are given is that x plus 3y and x minus 3y, when you input these two values into the function, you get xy. So we have to manipulate this in a certain way to get xy, and whatever manipulation we do, that would be the function xy. That will give us the function xy. So if you notice, this is x plus 3y and this is x minus 3y. So if I were to add these two terms, right? So we are just discussing options here. If I were to add these two terms, I would get 2x. And if I were to subtract these two terms, then x and x would go and I would get 6y. So when I'm adding these terms, when I'm adding them, I'm getting 2x. When I'm subtracting these terms, I'm getting 6y. And if I multiply them, then I'll get 12xy. And that is what I wanted, xy. So what I'm basically doing is that I'm adding both of these terms, right? So I'll write it again here. X plus 3y plus x minus 3y. So I'm getting 2x here, right? I'm subtracting the terms x plus 3y minus x minus 3y. I'm getting 6y here. And then from this product, if I multiply this, then I get 12xy. So if my function was fab, the answer is expecting me to multiply a plus b with a minus b. That's what I did. A plus b and a minus b. But that doesn't give me my final answer. I then have to divide it by 12. So what did we do here? To get xy, we first added the two inputs. We subtracted the two inputs. So we did a plus b and we did a minus b. And then we multiplied those two inputs. But multiplying those two inputs gave us 12 times our desired answer. So we had to divide by 12 also. So if I were just to put a, b in the brackets, this would be my answer. This can be further simplified. A plus b into a minus b is a squared minus b squared upon 12. So if instead of a, b I had put xy, then my answer would be x squared minus y squared divided by 12. So this is an interesting question because here you can't really solve it by any fixed method. You have to work around. You have to work around and figure out what is happening. So we saw that, okay, we wanted xy on the right hand side and we had these terms and we had to manipulate these terms somehow to get xy. So we could add them, we could subtract them. Once we did that, then we multiplied the results and then we had to do something else to get the final value. So that is how we have to do a question like this, and our answer is B. Okay, and let's do the last question now. So this is just a fraction that's given to us. You have to simplify it. 6 to the power n plus 6 to the power n plus 1 divided by 6 to the power n plus 6 to the power n minus 1. So now what can we do with 6 to the power n plus 1? Now if you notice, x to the power a plus b is x to the power a multiplied by x to the power b. This is a property of powers. So 6 to the power n plus 1 would be 6 to the power n into 6 to the power 1, which is 6 to the power n into 6. Similarly, 6 to the power n minus 1, if it was x to the power a minus b, that would be x to the power a divided by x to the power b. So 6 to the power n minus 1 would be 6 to the power n divided by 6 to the power 1, which is 6 to the power n divided by 6. So basically we need to put these values here and see what happens. So this becomes, our fraction becomes 6 to the power n plus 6 multiplied by 6 to the power n divided by 6 to the power n plus 1 by 6 multiplied by 6 to the power n. Now if you notice, you can take 6 to the power n common here. So this becomes 1 plus 6. And you can take 6 to the power n common here and becomes 1 plus 1 upon 6. And this 6 to the power n and 6 to the power n goes. Right? So the interesting thing is that we don't have n any longer. So even if I don't solve from this point, I know that my answer has to be A because that is the only answer which doesn't have n. Right? But we'll still solve it and get the right answer. So 6 plus 1 is obviously 7. And what is 1 plus 1 by 6? How do we solve that? So basically we write 1 as 1 upon 1 and we write 1 upon 6 as this, and we take the LCM of 1 and 6, which is 6. So this becomes 6 plus 1 and this becomes 7 upon 6. So 1 plus 1 upon 6 is 7 upon 6. Another way to write this is 7 multiplied by 6 by 7. That's what we do when we divide by a fraction that is similar to multiplying with the reciprocal of the fraction. And 7 and 7 goes, so my answer is 6, which is what we already thought we should get because that is the only option which doesn't have n. So my right answer is 6. In fact, any question, you could have any question value here. Instead of 6, you could have 2 to the power n plus 2 to the power n plus 1 divided by 2 to the power n plus 2 to the power n minus 1. It will always solve to the base 2, right? N will always vanish because when you solve it, you'll come across something like this and there will be no n. So the right answer is 6. That's all for now, friends. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to our channel Learning with Friends. Remember, it's absolutely free to subscribe. Also let us know in the comment section what other math and English videos we can make for you in future. Bye for now.